much to the Women's Caucus for this opportunity to be here today. It really is an honor to speak in front of such incredible women, so thank you. I'm just so grateful. Thank you very much. My name is Seibold, and I am the founder and executive director of BRAWS, which stands for Bringing Resources to Aid Women's Shelters. I started BRAWS about 3 years ago after finding out that homeless and low-income women and girls are not able to access new bras and underwear as well as tampons and pads. The access to these items in shelters, especially in transitional housing, was very difficult. They weren't provided, and the expensive price tags made it nearly impossible for women with no financial resources to be able to purchase them themselves. And the women I'm describing here are living in some of the wealthiest counties, especially in Northern Virginia, Fairfax County, Arlington, Alexandria. They're living in these same counties that are very prosperous. Many of these women are domestic violence victims who flee their house in the middle of the night with their families. Some of the substitutes I found out that they were using were portion diapers, old socks, paper towels, rags. They were using these items just so they can go for an interview and get a job in housing. Girls were using these items to attend school. There's so many barriers already for girls in education. It was incredibly shocking to me that this has to be one in the country we live in this day and age. Periods don't stop just because they're homeless. Periods don't stop because you're in a crisis, because you're being abused. And so the alternatives were not solutions. So we started just by collecting items in my house, just a simple collection drive. And we collected about 300 donations from women in my community. I proceeded to donate them to about 3 local shelters. I thought it would be just a one-time event about 3 years ago, never expecting for it to turn into what it has today. But word soon spread in my community, and shelters were contacting me constantly, asking if we had any more products to donate. They had heard that we're an organization that had access to them, and the women and girls in their shelters needed them. Because the impact was so immense and the demand far exceeded my supply, I came up with innovative and creative ways to collect more items and expand our service. But I knew I couldn't do it alone. I reached out to the community, and we really received an outpouring of support. The community was shocked and angered by the idea that women and girls do not have access to these items. They jumped in and helped me. Each month we delivered to new shelters, and the women and girls were so appreciative of these donations. It's been about 3 years now, and through the dynamic collaboration of community members, we have been able to help about 3,500 women and girls in about 35 shelters, mostly in Virginia, and we've also been able to help some shelters in Maryland and Washington, D.C. Since last January, we are also now proudly serving many school districts in Northern Virginia. We deliver the supplies to the food pantries and to individual girls through the counseling programs at schools, and just to assure that their period is not going to be a barrier to their education. In the beginning, when people asked me about what the mission of this organization is, I used to say, we just simply donate bras, tampons, pads to women in need. However, a few months into this journey, I realized that what we were doing was much more powerful and robust. We help women feel dignified at a time in their lives when they are facing extraordinary personal challenges. The attention and love that we bring with our bras may be the first positive experience that they have had in a very long time. We empower women and girls by giving them the tools and supplies to gain independence and stability while feeling confident in order to pursue their dreams. Most of all, I believe that we are pioneers in change. We are addressing these basic needs of women and girls that has been silently ignored for much too long. Our government legislation, as you are very aware, was mostly designed by male representatives. But whether intentional or not, it has significantly and critically failed to recognize the needs of the women that I just described. Federal programs such as SNAP, WIC, and Medicaid, even though the FDA categorizes these items as medical devices, do not include feminine hygiene products. That's right, they are not covered under food stamps. So let me just reiterate that, which is crazy to me. Shelters, schools, public government buildings are not allocated funds to purchase these items for women and girls. And tampons and pads are taxed heavily, 6% here in Virginia. And these items are already expensive, with an average box being about $10. I'm proud to work with Delegate Boysko, who I'm so happy at this point to call a friend, who was absolutely amazing in January when she introduced the Dignity Act, which would have repealed the tax on these items. Unfortunately, as many bills that have come before this bill, it was silently rejected in subcommittee. Not allowing this bill to even be considered for a vote was hurtful to the many families in Virginia, especially for low-income women making just enough money to exist above poverty level. Given that women are already making about 78 cents on every man's dollar, this added penalty for supplies to manage a necessary biological function, and let's remember, it's a choice. It's not a choice, unlike many other tax-exempt items out there. This really is the difference between food on the table and managing your feminine hygiene needs. We still have a very long way to go as we fight to increase access to and affordability of feminine hygiene products. But just by being here today and sending a message that we are willing to take this issue on, and as well with the Dignity Act that was introduced last year. As you can imagine, support from all of you will be integral to our success, and I invite you to support BRAWS in whatever way they are able to help us and continue with this great momentum and the impact we're having on the community. I have handouts that if you're on your way out, if you don't mind grabbing, it has a little more information about what we do. But thank you for stopping.